In this lesson, I'm going to go over how to use Node.js with AWS. So I'm just going to create the standard Hello World program in intro-03. So go File, New from Template, and actually pick JavaScript. You'll notice this one says Node.js Web Server, and although Node.js is good for that, we don't want to use the web server. So we're just going to stick with plain JavaScript file. So you'll notice that the comments for JavaScript are slightly different than Python. It's 2 slashes. And the standard Hello World program will be console.log hello world. So this will print out to the terminal for us like we're used to. Remember, you have to save before you can run your code. So I'm just going to save it as hello. And for running it, you run with, this time you do pick Node.js. And there you go. There is our standard Hello World program. To do linting with your program, you have to install a couple things. So I'm going to go back to the root and I'm going to open up a new terminal. And I'm just going to confirm that I'm actually at the root. Here I am at the root of the directory. The first thing you need to do is initiate something called the Node Package Manager, or NPM. So we're going to initialize that first. It's going to ask you a whole bunch of questions, and we're just going to accept all of the defaults. Say yes, and you will notice that at the root directory, it's added this package.json. So npm is going to use this file when it's actually running. So as with most JSON files, you shouldn't be changing them. I'm just going to go back to my instance. I accidentally got out of it. There we go. So we're just going to close this and we're not going to touch that. The next thing we need to do is we need to install our linter, and we're going to use the Node Package Manager to install that. So we're going to install, it's something called ESLint, and we're going to install it globally so that anywhere in our instance we can use this. So we're just going to press enter, it's going to go off and run that. When it's done, the next thing we need to do is actually initialize the linter. So ESLint, to spell it correctly, and we're going to initialize it. It's going to go off and it's going to ask us a whole bunch of questions. So yes, we're going to do syntax highlighting and find problems. We're just going to stick with standard Java modules. We are not going to use any frameworks, so we're going to say none of these. And we're not going to use TypeScript, so we're just going to say no. We're going to be using Node, not in the browser. And we're going to save this as a JSON file, just like we saved this package.json before. So are we ready to install? Yes, we are. So it's going to go off and do a whole bunch of stuff. You'll notice it added a whole bunch of new files. Once again, any of these JSON things, don't touch them, just leave them alone. Okay, so now that we're done, we can go back into our code that we had before, and we can actually run the process of linting our files. So ESLint and hello.json, or JavaScript, and we press enter, and if nothing shows up, just like the Pi code style, that's a good answer. That's what you want. So this actually ran correctly and everything is working okay.